All right, there we go. All right, I am here with the great Cameron Whittington, who I saw the other day unloading his car with some new hardware. You were in Norway,
Yes,
right? It was Norway.
Oslo, yep.
And what was the event called again?
World Martial Arts Games.
World Martial Arts Games, not the Hunger Games,
No.
but the World Martial Arts Games. I love it, man.
Yep.
So you went there, and how many people were in the event, do you think?
It was pretty sizable. The USA definitely had the biggest team there. We had 250 competitors across all the divisions.
Wow.
But there was a pretty big team from Britain. They probably had a couple hundred as well. There was some Norwegian competitors. We had a couple Mexican competitors. I think there was a total of 12 countries from what I can recall. I don't remember exactly. But between Britain and the USA, those were definitely the biggest teams. That's where a lot of martial arts is big right now.
Yeah.
You know, there is some in South America and Eastern Europe, but definitely on this side is where you're going to get more competitors.
Now, is it a yearly deal?
Every other year.
So it's every other year. Wow.
Yeah.
And is it always in Norway, or do they switch it up?
No, it rotates. So 2 years ago, it's in Daytona Beach.
Okay.
And then the next one is going to be back in the USA. I guess they have this deal where it goes between Europe and the USA every time because we have such a big
sort of an
team.
East-West.
Yeah.
In arm wrestling, they do that a lot too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's actually called East versus West.
Oh, there you
and
go,
it's
right,
coming up December in like a couple weeks in Atlantic City.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so they'll do like qualifiers. You know, if you pull good in your division, they'll put you in, and then sometimes it's the East versus West qualifier, and it's tough as nails stuff. And then it's just those European guys. They're a little bit different. Like they're used to, like, you know, pushing cows and bull with their hand rather than, you know. So it's like they're real hard to beat. But it's sort of the same deal. We went to I think it was in Turkey 1 year, and then they did it in Florida. That's where the Worlds were.
Nice.
And then I think they even did Dubai, I want to say, you know, and like they got that Dubai money. So they're like, yes, come here. We'll treat you guys and everything. I'm like, we'll fly you out. I'm like, geez, that's awesome.
It's
you know?
funny. Originally, they were looking at Dubai for the World Games this year.
Gotcha.
I kind of preferred Norway. I thought that's more the history and stuff that I'd like to see. So I was glad that was there.
Did you have a chance to check it out? Like check out the
Went
country?
into the city for a couple of days.
Awesome.
Their public transport is great there.
And that?
So we took the train from the airport because we were only like 5 minutes from the airport. Train into town, which took about 30 minutes, and then you're basically already in the heart of Oslo right there. So we saw a fortress there on the lake that's right there by Oslo. Got to walk around, just see what's around there.
Wow, man.
Very clean city. Lots
people how the community is just nice folks, you know. Yeah, that's what I hear.
They don't necessarily like go out of the way to say hi or anything, but anyone that you need anything, you just ask, and they're very accommodating.
Wow. What was the weather like when you were there?
Actually, it was surprisingly the same as here.
Really?
It was cold, but not like freezing like I was picturing when I was thinking about going over there.
Like all the like the Nordic movies, you know, they all got like a big bear skin on, exactly, you know, huge beards, you know.
They actually sold reindeer skins there. You could buy them in some of the stores.
Yeah. It's like getting a plaid shirt at Target. Reindeer, let me get that. You got the horns, you know, I'm trying to make a hat.
Exactly.
So you're there, you flying, how was that, about a 12-hour flight, or what do you?
In total, yes. It was 5.5 from here to Iceland, and then I had about an hour and a half layover, and then Iceland to there was about 2.5. So total travel time probably about 12 hours thereabouts.
Rock on, man. Yeah, because it's like a looking on a map. It's like this. You kind of
exactly.
curl up.
Yep.
So in your division, when you compete in, it was multiple different styles, if I recall.
Yep.
What was the first the style that you were into, that you placed in?
I do Tang Soo Do and Taekwondo, which are both Korean arts, and the divisions that I placed in were the Korean traditional forms. So if you've seen like Karate Kid, where they're practicing like their punches and stuff with different stances and whatnot, that's essentially what it is, just the Korean version of that.
Gotcha.
And then I also won creative weapons and creative forms. So the creative forms is just me making up my own thing. You have some limitations. You can do no more than 360 degrees of rotation in the air, and you can't do any inverts. So no like back flips, front flips, any of that kind of stuff.
Because I'm assuming that could be a little dangerous with sickles in
Well,
your
there is. So there, I also signed up to compete in what we call extreme weapons, which is that.
Gotcha.
So you're allowed to do anything you want at that point.
A little waiver at the very bottom.
Yes,
You get the extra waiver.
Yes,
you know?
100%. But I won the creative forms, which is me making up my own form, and then I won the creative weapons with my weapons are called commas, so they're like 14-inch wooden handle. It's like this with a curved blade on the end. You've probably seen them before at some point or other.
Yeah.
And then I also signed up for the extreme forms and the extreme weapons. I went out and did my extreme form, and it's my own fault because I didn't read the rules close enough. But apparently on this circuit, you needed music with the with the form.
Really?
Yeah, and they disqualified me because
And you just went raw with it.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't need no music.
No,
Oh, wow.
because that's always how I do it.
Gotcha.
I enjoy the music every now and then, but I like to just focus on it because
Sure.
one of my trademarks is just being very intense.
Yeah.
So I like to just show that off without needing the music. And I would have won if I hadn't gotten disqualified.
Is that what they told you? Like you probably would have
everyone
won.
around was like, yeah, you would have won.
Oh
But,
man.
it is what it is.
They should give you like at least like under the table, like, hey man, look, we know, but hey,
Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, I can't really complain because it is my own fault. I didn't read the rules close enough. So,
That's a good attitude, man.
And as a coach, that's also an important thing because I was also coaching while I was over there. So.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Now, how many folks that were you coaching when you were over there?
So I had 4 personal students that went over there,
Okay.
but I was also a certified Team USA coach while I was there. So I was responsible for not necessarily like being at everyone's ring, but if anyone needed anything, it's like, hey, I can help them out in whatever ways. So when we had our team trainings, I was supervising the group doing the creative forms and weapons, coaching them, saying, hey, do this, do that, whatever, getting ready for the divisions that were starting the next day.
Wow.
Yeah.
When it comes to your personal versus the Team USA, is the Team USA like funded in any sort of, like, do you get like a cool Team Coach USA jacket or something like that?
Not really, because it's unfortunately not like the Olympics or larger organizations where there's a lot of that funding that comes from the USA.
Right.
We're funding a lot of that. So for me, I still had to purchase they gave us patches to put on our uniforms. So I purchased those, had to get them put on the uniforms that I wanted. I had to purchase my team uniform, the jacket, the like warm-up jacket and such, and this shirt here.
Nice.
And then
That's a pretty tight shirt.
Yeah, no, I love this shirt. It's great.
Yeah.
And then I am also with them partially sponsored because they have a nutrition company that they work with, and they sponsored 4 of us on the team. And the nutrition company is called Live Pure.
Okay.
It's it is nutrition, but it's a hydration. So like liquid IV, essentially like that.
I had one this morning.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, more all natural.
After that Ravens game.
Yeah.
That was a sad day.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's more natural products.
Okay.
I think even the sweetener is more natural. I forget all the details of it, but I'm not one to like actually invest in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, they're giving it to me for free, so I'm not investing into it.
Do you like it?
Oh, yeah, I love it. Actually, it's actually...
I'll have to try some.
Yeah, I have some at the house. You can try some, yeah.
Yeah, for those listening, Cameron and I see each other quite a bit. He's my neighbor.
Yeah. Literally next door neighbor, yep.
So the way that I think it was when you, obviously I know your mom, and she posted, your 3 gold medals. I'm like, what? I couldn't believe my eyes. I'm like, whoa, look at this. And then we had my daughter's birthday party, and you came over, and I'm like, I almost was like, Cameron, go get the medals, bring them over. I want to wear one.
Yep. I totally would have if you wanted me to.
That's cool, man. Yeah, no, I'll have to try. So it live pure.
Yeah, LIVPUR.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we got product from them. They give us like tons. Like I've got more than I'm ever going to need.
Nice.
But again, back to that, like it's unfortunate that we don't get more sponsorship. And the guys that run it, Joey Harrison and Drew Bisbee, they're great about trying to get as much sponsorship as they can for everything. So they actually did on the first go around. When registration opened, they did get sponsorship from a local company here. It was it was a car dealership in Bethesda, I think.
Oh, cool.
That sponsored the first 100 athletes to get registration for free.
Oh, wow.
So they were able to get that done. And I was kind of looking into it, and I'm kind of glad because first thought in my mind is, I'm also a coach. I'm not going to take advantage of this. I want the kids that are going there to do it. So I was kind of like on the fence, am I going to do it? And by the time I actually really considered if I was going to do it, it was already gone. So I was like, well, I'm glad that temptation's out of there. I don't want to, I want the kids that are, I want them to have the first opportunity at that because I can afford to pay for it. So,
yeah.
Yep.
Now, how old are the kids in the range that you're coaching?
I coach anywhere from about probably 8 years old to I have one adult that just turned 50, actually. So I coach a variety of ages.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. You've been doing this pretty much your whole life.
Yeah, since I was 5.
And your father, great guy.
Yes.
Now, was he doing karate only, or what was his background?
So in the 70s, when he was a kid, he took karate at the same place that I got my black belt. His school was still around, was started back then, lived on all the way through when I was a kid, and is still around actually today on Ritchie Highway, right next to Seaside. Restaurant in Glen Burnie, near where the AACT college is.
And which do they call it? What do they call it? Not a dojo. Is that what they call
yes,
it?
They do call
okay.
It. Yeah,
what's the name of that dojo?
So AJ Bartlinski's Karate Supercenter.
Gotcha.
It's still up and running. Still has a great staff, great student base as far as I know. I haven't been there in a few years, but everything was great last time I was there. He was taking martial arts there. He kind of had his own little Karate Kid story when he was there. He was getting bullied. The bully was a black belt from another school, and so he started taking martial arts, and then he got up to purple belt. And then they were competing in a local martial arts competition, and he won his sparring division as an underbelt. The black belt won his as a black belt. And then nowadays they don't do this, but back then they had all ranks together.
Right.
Which nowadays they don't do just because of the fairness of it. Black belts should only go against black belts and such. But back then they did it. Anyway, as a purple belt, he went against the black belt, beat the black belt, won the grand championship.
No kidding.
And I have the trophy at my house. Actually.
Really?
Yep.
And at that point, is it just like, okay, here's your automatic black belt, or do you still work it?
No, he still had to work up to that, but he did. But at that point, that was his main reason behind doing it. So after that, he just kind of stopped because he had done what he needed to do. He proved himself.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
man.
it was. It's almost as if they wrote the Karate Kid based on that. But
it could be one of those things where someone heard the story.
It could be.
And then that story, it's a game of telephone.
Yeah.
And then it just goes in, and a writer overhears it and goes, hey, man, this is kind of all right. And then they just don't, plug where they heard of it come, because they might not know who it is. It might just, hey, I heard of this. I'm like, that's a good thing for a story,
exactly, Yep.
That's pretty cool. Now, you teach, would you say is your favorite form to teach?
Lately I teach more Taekwondo to my students because those are the types of forms that are doing better on the competition circuits. I'm always going to have a soft spot for Tang Soo Do because that's what I originally started in. That's what my 4th degree black belt is in.
4th degree.
4th degree in that, and then I have a 1st degree in Taekwondo as well.
Now, okay, what belts and different forms do you have? You have
so I just have those 2 currently. Yeah,
and then
Taekwondo. Yeah, so I have 4th degree in Tang Soo Do, 1st degree in Taekwondo, and then I would have to get back into it, but I also was very close to blue belt in BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay.
So those are the only styles that I have official rank in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, have you? Let's see. Have you ever tried judo?
I have not, but there was a lot of judo elements incorporated in the curriculum that when I was growing up. So
Gotcha.
like how do you throw someone when they got you from a choke behind the neck, or a bear hug, like taking them down, those kind of things.
Okay.
So no official rank in it, but that was one of the things I really liked about Bartlinski's when I was growing up, is that there was there's a variety of different things being taught. It wasn't just strictly the old school Tang Soo Do. It was like adding all these different other elements in.
What do you think about Krav Maga for like kids growing up, as far as like a self-defense? Is that,
I've never done it myself, but I've only heard good things. And of course, with all martial arts, it's not the style, it's the teacher.
Gotcha.
You know, if a good teacher is going to take anything, turn it into something that's not only practical, beneficial, but also enjoyable.
What would you recommend for someone like who is in that position, maybe getting bullied or something, or just wants to have the confidence in themselves and be able to protect themselves and strike when they need to?
Something that's going to incorporate a variety. So not just stand up, not just groundwork, but both.
Gotcha.
I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
And in a real street fight, you want to stay up. The
Exactly.
goal is, if you're not in a competition where there's a referee that can say, submit, tap or whatever, you want to keep your legs up in case you got to run. Someone comes out at you with a bottle or something. So, both styles, ground and standing.
Yep.
Exactly. That's kind of always been my thought.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's why I love jiu-jitsu, but a lot of the jiu-jitsu guys just think like they have this almost a cultish mentality of this is the only way.
Yeah.
It's like
all the memes were like, come at me, bro. They're already laying on the ground. Come here. Let me get your leg.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what would happen in that scenario, but I also know that I'm fast and I know I can kick you in the head without stretching. So
I've seen you freaking kick, dude. I'm not sure if you watched different, MMAs or anything, or even, podcasts that Joe Rogan, his high kick is like really insane. He was teaching George St. Pierre, 15 years ago. There's their old, 720p, that's what I use on these. So it kind of looks like this, kicking a punching bag.
Right.
And that thing is just rocking. Even GSP is looking at the camera like, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
And I've seen you do like a thing where you do like a spin and then a kick and then like a split afterwards in like a second.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's like that.
Right.
That's, now, and back to the Norway competition. How many days is it?
So this one was 3 days, and I think that just kind of varies depending on how many people they have. This was a very big tournament, surprisingly, for it being in more, not a remote location, but somewhere that a lot of the major competitors aren't necessarily going to get to.
Right.
Being in Norway. But it was 3 days. So the first day was Friday. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they kind of had to change things on the fly just because of, what's, how many competitors they have in a certain division. Because like my first division in the creative forms was only 3 competitors.
Got it.
But then my Korean traditional one was 16. So it just depends upon how many competitors they have signed up. And I think majority of stuff was done by Sunday afternoon because then they also had to get ready for the banquet in the evening and all that. So it just varies. Some other organizations that I've been a part, they're week long.
Gotcha.
They go like from Monday all the way through Saturday.
Wow.
But just kind of, again, depends upon how many competitors there are, what's the layout of the tournament. Are they more focused on fighting, forms, whatever?
Right.
Because fighting takes longer because it's bracket style, whereas forms, everyone just goes once and then they're scored and that's it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting how that works out.
Yep.
And I've been a part of, different arm wrestling tournaments, and then, my kid is now doing the dance, like she does like the Mommy and Me. And I went to one of those, and it's like Rachel's like, be prepared to see craziness. It is like the dance mom thing is like a real thing.
Yep.
And I witnessed it. I was like, I was kind of scared of some of these moms. And then it's just like, just to see different tournaments and how they work out, and whether if they're at 2 years old or 50 years old or whatever, it's that tournament mindset can kind of just, it can go from one day to, I was in a 2-day long arm wrestling tournament that was up in Atlantic City. It was a qualifier.
Right, yeah.
And it was one of those things like, look, even when I was pulling at my best, 300 pounds, these dudes that I was yanking with, because after 260 is unlimited. So if you're over 260 pounds, that's heavyweight.
Right.
And so even at 300, I could be pulling someone who's 450, and just naturally, just they'd be able to, because the bigger you get, the stronger you are. And I knew that when I lost weight, I tried to even lift the weights I was lifting at 300. It wasn't happening.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like my goal now at 270, try to get back to be able to bench press 270 again. When I was 300, I was throwing up 300. I had that strength. And then when you cut down and you don't go to the gym, and I'm really hitting it again, it's like I'm trying to get back to that level. But all those freaking injuries I had, all those, not injuries, operations I had, you know, stents, put in all that BS. It really meant, you know, I had two surgeries in a year where, you know, if you go in a coma, I'm not coma, if you go under anesthesia, they say every time you go under anesthesia, like your natural depression kicks in up by 60%. I went under three times in the same year. And I just remember afterwards, I wouldn't say I wasn't depressed. I didn't have any energy. Right. I couldn't find it, you know, and I wasn't even like drinking a lot. I was just like, you know, go to work. The kid was, you know, I'm raising a newborn. I'm doing all this stuff, and it's just my energy's gone. And then I want to say back in August, I said, you know what, enough's enough. You know, I gotta get back to where I was. So I'm eating healthy again. I'm going to the gym, and then even like my friends are saying, they're like, dude, you've been working out. I'm like, that compliment right there is it lights the fire even more. You know, it keeps you wanting to go. Now, as far as staying in shape, what do you do? I'm sure you have some sort of a diet or some sort of even a small workout plan to keep yourself in shape for this. So what is your sort of your schedule?
When I was training, getting ready for it, I was training my martial arts every day. So whether I do, usually would just pick one of the different things I needed to do, one of the different forms or styles that I needed to practice for the specific divisions. And I would just run that kind of stuff on that day. I was focusing on my stretching, making sure I was remaining flexible. Diet, I wrote my own diet, and I don't really even have it written down. It's just I know what I need to buy, and I still eat the same thing every day, pretty much. Some people think I'm insane for doing that, but
what is it?
So mornings I have a breakfast sandwich, which is just an egg, basically like an egg McMuffin, but I use scrapple. That's just the meat I like to use on it.
That's at Baltimore.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's it. And for scrapple, for the first timers, just don't look at it, just eat it. You know, that's what I tell them. You know, turn the light off when you eat it, because once you look at it, you're like, is this a hockey puck?
Just don't think about it. It's delicious.
Put some ketchup on it.
Yeah,
you're good.
It only gets bad when you ask what's in it. So.
That's it. And if you don't want to think of a hot dog, processed a few more times.
Exactly. Yep. 100%.
And then that's about the size of this color right here.
Yeah, pretty much. So I eat that. It's just cheese, one egg, English muffin, and then scrapple. My lunch is two 85% lean burger patties with a slice of cheese on top, ketchup's like I'm eating a cheeseburger but without the bun.
Yep.
Then my dinner is 8 ounces ground turkey with I just get these frozen packets. It's California medley, so it's cauliflower, broccoli, and carrots. Just fry all that up, put it in a container with usually some sort of Asian sauce, and that's a good dinner. Then I have they're like rice cake chips. So like there's a cheddar cheese one that I get, and then there's a caramel one.
Gotcha.
Those are my snacks. Then I also have bananas and apples on hand if I want to have some snacks. So try to keep it lean. Since May, I've lost 22 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So
now, was that intentional to lose that weight? Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. I
for this tournament?
Just in general, because I knew I was getting sloppy. I needed to.
It happens, man.
It does.
How old are you now?
28.
28. Yeah. That you may have noticed it, but 25. That's kind of like that. You can do whatever.
Yeah.
I swear, man. When I hit, because I went from when I stopped playing basketball at 26. I gained 30 pounds in a year.
Yep.
In a year, dude, because I wasn't working out every day. I wasn't doing this. And this is before I transitioned to arm wrestling.
Yeah.
I was in like this dead spot. I was going to the gym a couple times a day, eating whatever. But when you're balling, when you're playing basketball and you're going to games and you're running drills, you're running sprints, you're doing suicides, you can eat whatever you want.
Yeah, pretty much.
You really can in your 20s. But I swear, man, when I hit 26, I kept, whatever, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I went from having a 6-pack to I can feel it. Yeah. I know it's in there, but you can't see it.
Yeah.
And just the aches and the pains, and it's that curricular moment. You got to find where you go, oh, this is what they're talking about. You got to watch what you eat. Because my whole life I was skinny until about my 22, 23, I started putting on a little bit more weight. I always stayed around 225.
Right.
Now at 6'10", if I was 225, I would be a rail, like straight up.
Yeah.
You know, so my optimal goal is between 250 and 260.
Yep.
And at 6'10", I can fluctuate 10 pounds on a week.
Yeah.
And I tell people that, and they're like, "You're crazy." And then I'll start on Monday.
Yeah.
I'll just, miss out on a couple meals throughout the week.
Yep.
Take a picture of the same scale on the thing, and it's 10 pounds lighter. Like, no shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just, it's like the bigger you are, it's just so easy to fluctuate that.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, well, I want to lose 10 pounds. I'm like, could you not eat a couple meals for a day? She's like, no.
Well, and female metabolism is a lot different because I've
Yeah.
worked with female clients at the gym, and it's a lot different trying to figure out how to get them to lose weight, and it's
Sure.
not their own fault. And I'm also not well versed in that either. I know how to get myself to lose weight,
Sure.
but my metabolism is a lot different.
Right.
And for me, when I was losing weight, I think a lot of it too, I was just in kind of a depression for a little bit. Ending my relationship was a rough ending to my relationship. Plus everything my mom was going through last year as well.
Yeah, that was rough. How's she doing?
She's good.
Yeah, I talk to her every now and then.
Yeah,
and I never want to be like, hey, how because that's
she loves you guys, and she is always happy like when you guys say hi and whatnot.
awesome. I saw y'all. It's, we're leaving. We're wrapping up the game. My parents came over for the game, and they're gals. They're just talking, and Charlie's getting ready to take stuff out to the car.
Yeah.
And he says, "This is like a Hallmark Christmas card out here. Your mom's sitting out there in a chair, and she's just pointing to you where to put the candy canes for the decorations." And I'm like, "That's great." I'm like, "You should snap a photo and send it to him." Yeah. That's when all that was going down. It was that was about what, a year?
It was at least a year, and she still has stuff going on, but she's now she's able to drive herself to doctor's appointments and stuff again.
Yeah.
So she's
because I remember a couple of years ago she was like on a diet and she lost some weight. She was looking good and feeling great, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden, they couldn't really figure out what was going on, and I was just like, oh man, it's a bummer because I went through it. When I had I had my gallbladder taken out.
Right.
And then I turned yellow. I had jaundice, and then I had this pain, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got to put a stent in you." And then it wasn't big enough, so I had to put a bigger one in.
Right.
And then I got pancreatitis, and then it was just like one thing after another. So I'm like, I sympathize when, the doctors will tell you we're 90% sure this is what it is, and that 10%. That 10% is huge because if it's not this, it could be a bunch of things, and you start going through all the checklists, and then that can take forever to figure it out. And did they ever figure out what was the underlying?
Yeah, so there's a variety of things that she has because she has autoimmune issues. So the biggest thing that she had going on was called pyoderma gangrenosum, which is, if you catch the title in there, it's gangrene essentially on the outside. She had it all up her backside, so even just sitting was excruciating pain. But that's all what we learned is that kind of burns itself out after a while.
Gotcha.
So that's where she's at with that now. She still has a few, but it's not nearly like it was. And then she has Derkham's disease as well, which is basically the easiest way I can describe it is like cysts under the skin.
Yeah.
They're not life-threatening, but they just cause pain because they're pushing on nerves.
And with specific medications, are they treatable? Or?
Yes. So the pyoderma, I think that just deals with itself.
Yeah, gotcha.
I don't really know that there's anything with that. And I know she's taking a variety of medications for various things. I don't know what they all are for, but the Derkham's, I think their next process that they're trying to look at is getting some of it removed, because kind of like liposuction, I think, is what they're trying to do to get rid of some of that.
Yeah.
And beyond that, I don't think there's anything else, because she also has what's the one with gluten? What affects gluten?
Celiac?
Yes, celiac. She has celiac as well, so she can't eat gluten.
My coworker Rob, crazy story. Lawyer, smart guy. I think he still has his law license. But local guy, Towson dude. He's in his 60s now. Years ago, probably 20 some odd years ago, he's in his practice, I guess with a few others, and he just starts feeling like crap, and he's eating and not, they can't figure it out, because a lot more people have it, are diagnosed with it now, because they now sort of know what it is.
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago, it was who knows, and then so he's blah, 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 going through it and getting sicker and sicker, and to the point to where, doctors and himself, they're like, if this doesn't clear up, we don't know what to do. We're not sure how this is going to end for you, sort of thing,
Right. I'm sure it's scary.
So he took a trip out to California, I think, just to kind of go see things he always wanted to see. And a few days in, he's feeling fine. And he's like, and then soon enough, he's like, I actually feel amazing.
Right.
Like, what the hell? He calls his doctor. And his doctor's like, okay, let's start going through your ritual. What were you doing there that you weren't doing here? And he's like, well, what'd you eat? He's like, well, I went to this one spot and ate this and yeah. And he's like, okay, then what'd you eat the next day? He's like, well, I ate this, yeah. And then they started doing the cues. And he says, Rob, did you go to any bagel shops when you were there? He's like, no, I actually didn't.
Right.
They trace it down. It was that gluten allergy.
Yeah.
He'd been going to this bagel shop every day, grabbing his coffee, grabbing his bagel, and going to the practice.
Right.
It was just his ritual. And they figured it out, and then they just started going down and down and down. It's like, he can't have soy.
Yep.
He can't have, believe it or not, he can actually have wings. But he has to, whenever we go out, we have to talk to the chef.
Oh yeah,
and just straight up say, "Hey, look, man, we're not we're not trying to be bougie at all.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, I'll get very ill." And so he even still to this day, he keeps charcoal tablets in his pocket just in case if he has something wrong. Because I remember one time he ate something, and it was like he was drunk but without the booze, because he was just kind of stumbling a little bit, and he was off. He's like, I gotta sit down, and he took a couple of those, and then it was a whole day. He just bedridden.
It doesn't take much. Cross contamination can easily do it. Yeah,
it's so wild, man. And who else just told me? Someone else just told me that they were just diagnosed with a gluten allergy. They can't have pizza. Winston, a good buddy of mine, he just said, yeah. And I was like, oh man, that, and same for Rob. He's like, it was pizza and beer on Friday nights. That's what we do. And he's like, I'm so upset I can't have pizza.
I bet,
And so like whenever we like buy pizza for the shop, I try to like sneak it in the side door, just straight to the back so he doesn't eat. And he'll go, I still smell it.
Yeah.
But the pizza was the thing. But look, even with my diet now, carbs and dairy. That's pretty much what my diet is calling for right now, to really cut it out. And so lean meat, chicken. I can do vegetables, some fruits. Stay away. Obviously, I've always tried to stay away from highly processed seed oils. Go for egg whites. So pretty much your diet plan is very similar to mine actually in the morning. So I don't do scrapple though. I'll just do straight egg. And I used to do it on a bagel. It was my man, do it double egg over easy on a toasted bagel with a little bit of cream cheese. Make my mouth water right now. And but yeah, I'm just 2 eggs. I'll get a wrap, low carb wrap or no carb wrap. Like one of those vegetable wraps, pop it on there, a little bit of hot sauce, a little bit of salt and pepper, and I'm good. Lunch, I'll try to do some sort of grilled chicken or, salad, of the sort, maybe some medley or something like that. Dinner, sort of the same thing. Try to go for a chicken or a turkey or lean ground beef, 85-15, or I'll even go for the 90. And that's kind of it. And it's amazing when you do that and you find out that everything's everything's bread. Everything is, whether if it's a burger or pizza or a hot dog, everything's bread, a bagel, you know, even some of these wraps that are just like full of sugar, you know, so it's like, it's the sugar in the wrap. You look at it, I'm like, this is tortilla. This is not supposed to have this much sugar in it, but that's just the way the world works now. You look at how all the GMOs were put in, and you wonder why, you know, what'd they say? 35% of the population's not just overweight, they're obese. Like 20 years ago, 50 years ago, it was what, less than 5%, you know? So we're on the steady incline of what society is sort of saying, okay, it's okay to go to McDonald's every day. It's okay to even go, I love Chick-fil-A. I love the company. I think they're a great company. It's still fried chicken. And it was just one thing, it's like, okay, I had to cut back on that a lot. So now it's like, if I go to like Chipotle, I'll just get the burrito bowl. I'll just get rice, white rice, chicken, or, you know, sometimes I'll get the steak, but I'll just get the double chicken, the fajita veggies, and a little bit of hot sauce. And I just kind of leave it at that. If I'm feeling rich that day, I'll get the guacamole. There you go. You know? If I want to be like,
they ain't cheap anymore.
I know, my gosh. I used to be like $7. Now it's like, I roll out just for me. It's 15. I'm like,
I think it's just the way of the world now, because, you know, for me, if I don't meal prep, I'm not eating, because I'm working, I'm running my business. I'm working, which you know well, obviously. I'm working 2 other jobs on top of that. So if I don't meal prep, I don't eat. So then what's the alternative? Well, fast food. And I think with how...
And it's costly, man.
It's unhealthy. And I think that just because everyone is so... the world is so hyperactive now. When,
these...
exactly.
These phones, man. And I highly recommend and suggest turning it one day a week. You know, I actually learned that from Charlie Kirk. And unplug for a day. You know, respect the Sabbath. Whatever day, whether you do it on Saturday or Sunday or some day in the week. You know, for me, that is, I try to do it on Sunday. You know, just try to spend as much time with the family. Now that, you know, my season's coming over with sailing and everything, I'm not doing as much. I'm trying to get back in, you know, church every Sunday. We've just been watching it online. I'm like, now that the kid's 3, I want to get her back in Sunday school, get her going. I know you go every Sunday. I always see you're always sharply dressed, man.
I try. It's the Lutheran in me.
That's it. And though you say, you know, wear your Sunday's best. And even when I go to church, you know, I'll never knock anybody, you know, and I am in Glen Burnie and I go to a Glen Burnie church. Some of these people, I feel like you just grab them out of a bar and the way, but I'm like, hey, you know, God bless them. They're there. You know, they showed up, but it's still in my roots, you know, wear your Sunday's best for the Lord. 100%. And now back to sort of all your competition and, you know, faith. Does your faith have any sort of direction in where you have gone with the last, you know, 5-10 years or even now? And doing that with teaching or just, you know,
faith guides everything I do. I would say that I give God glory for everything that I've been given and worked to for him. The training that I do, teaching and all that, I feel that's where I make the most difference. I use my platforms for social media to share just simple messages. You've probably seen on my Facebook and such. And I have my algorithms on like Instagram and such trained to where it'll show me like 5-10 second videos that has like a Bible verse or a quick message or something. And I just share them on my story. Just a quick way I can just like, you know, jab this out there for anyone who's like willing to listen. I just feel that this is where I can make the most difference. I'm affecting kids' lives positively. I remember the first student that I trained for competition. Her name is Kate Esmond. She actually goes to college in Delaware now, so she's pretty close by. But she was getting ready to quit, and then I started coaching her, and then she went on to start winning a lot of divisions across the country, some of the top ones on NASCA as well. She won the first Korean Challenge division, which might not mean much to other people or understand what it means, but it was the first time that the specialized division was run at any national level tournament, and she won that one. So it was a big notch in her belt and big thing for me as well.
That's so cool.
But she would have, if it wasn't, not if it wasn't for me, I don't like putting that on myself, but I contributed a lot to her staying in the martial arts.
Yeah.
And even when she was home from college this past summer, she took a couple classes online with me. So it's nice to see those kids that I've affected are still wanting to learn and come back to training. And when I was in Norway, I actually met with a gentleman named David, and he is admin at a college in Tennessee. It's called Bryan College. It's a Christian college.
Okay.
And he runs a martial arts team out of there. That's actually the only martial arts scholarship team that anyone has ever known of. So he gets martial artists that want to still compete, and he gives them scholarships to the college. So I'm not sure how they work all that out, but regardless, he spoke to me and he wants me to come out there, do some speaking engagements for their team, and
that's so cool,
possibly
man.
business majors. So we're in talks right now to get me out there to do that kind of stuff.
And where's that again? Where's that college?
Tennessee.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I forget the exact city in Tennessee. But yeah, so I just thought that was a really cool opportunity, and one of the big reasons why he was sold on it.
Yeah.
In addition to just me being a martial artist, because I'm also a Lutheran elder. So just having that background in not only martial arts but also in religion and faith.
Now, that's pretty interesting that you're an elder at your age.
Yeah.
That just kind of shows how dedicated you are. Where, from my knowledge of the church, all the elders in my church are pretty. I'd say they're at least in their 40s or up.
Yeah.
Now is it a Lutheran church that you
Correct,
go to?
yes. Mm-hmm.
And now is that they have a pastor?
Yes.
And it's not a priest. Priest is just Catholic, right?
Yeah, priest is just Catholic. So we have we only have one pastor. We've only ever had one pastor at this church. It's a decent size, but it's not like some of the other bigger churches that require multiple pastors.
Sure.
So there's the pastor, then there's the variety of volunteers, so church president, secretary, all that variety of things, and then there's the group of elders, which includes myself. We actually have a number of elders that are around my age. So one of my friends, Adler, he's the same age as me. He's an elder there. One of our other friends, Ben, is 31. And then the other elders are a little bit older, 40s upwards to like 60, 70 or so.
And I think that's important, because you look at this young generation where, sometimes it's hard to look up to someone who's not in their age gap. I think the older you get, at 36, I can say, oh, I understand what this old guy is saying now.
Yeah.
Old guy, yeah. They're all old when they're older than me. Right. What these elderly folks, you start to respect them and understand. Oh, I know what he meant when he says, when you're 25, you think you know the world. And then you hit 30 and you look at your 25-year-old self and say, oh, I didn't know jack.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you hit 35 and like, oh my gosh, I thought I had figured out at 30. So it's real cool to see the younger generation set an example.
Yeah.
Be in the church, because that gets other folks, other kids, other teens to 20-year-olds to say, hey, that's not too far away from what I am, or I'm his age. And look, that's an example right there that he's not out partying. They're not out doing this. And, look, I did that stage. I did the party stage, and, I'm not one of those people, no regrets. Oh, there's a few things I regret I didn't do. I'm not even going to say I'm glad I got it out of me, because I think that's still always in there. Now it's my, I just can't do the 2-day hangover anymore. So it's like, now I'll just have a couple pints and then, and then I call it a day, maybe a glass of wine, watch a movie.
Yeah.
But those hangovers when you get in your 30s, plus, they ain't it. And then, some of the 20-year-olds that are, still, they can boom up the next day and whatever, and they're fine. What I'm saying is, keep going down that path. That path will catch up to you.
Yeah.
So the sooner, the better that you can get on a good path with good examples like yourself.
Yep.
That is the road to go down.
Yeah.
And as far as turnout, as results of your decisions that you didn't think mattered so much then, how much they do play a part to where you end up.
Yeah.
I always say you take 5 people. You're going to be one of those 5 if you hang out with them. You hang out with 5 dope heads, odds are you're a dope head. You hang out with 5, intellectual, people that want to help each other in medicine, odds are you might be a doctor.
Yeah.
You hang out with 5 world champions like yourself, odds are you're going to be a world champion.
Yeah.
And at my 20s and 25, when my father would tell me that, I'm like, yeah, but I'm so mentally keen enough to, I know I'm hanging out with this guy and he's a deadbeat. I know I'm hanging out this. And really, once you step back and look, there were people in my 20s that, I may have called, I don't want to say best friends, but really good friends and acquaintances that I know if I didn't step away from them, I know, I see where they are.
Yep.
Some of them are dead. Some of them in jail. Some of them just snuck out, and thank God they turned that path.
Yeah.
And then I look at some of the other people who, I got out of high school with, and they were, driven. Their accountability was there. They didn't go out drinking the Friday night so they could be at work for whatever business they were working for at 8 a.m.
Yep.
And then you look at them now at 36, some of these dudes are millionaires. Some of these dudes are, they're my age, and they got a new lease on a, BMW every other year.
Right.
They got a $1 million house and a beautiful family. And it's like, oh, okay, that's the same. They just went down that path.
Yep.
And it's the examples that you're getting out here, just telling people, stay dedicated, stay driven, find a goal, and, lead by God's example. It's a good thing that you're doing.
Yeah. We were reading in Luke in Sunday school recently, and one of the things that struck me is that a lot of times you'll hear in the Bible that the examples of sins, when talking about sin, a lot of the examples that they'll use is sexual immorality, drunkenness, and that's hit me as like, there's a reason why those 2 are usually used as an example, because what do you see prevalent in our society now? So if anyone's listening, watch out. Do not hang around people who are promiscuous. Don't hang around with people who want to be drunk all the time. Yeah. You'll set yourself up a lot better. It's not going to cover all the bases, but it's going to cover a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you can find a ways. You can look for trouble.
Yeah.
And you can avoid trouble.
Yep.
And I was actually reading something the other day. It was a video. It was like an inspiration thing. And these 2 young kids, that's probably fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
And they see Ray Lewis. And they asked Ray Lewis, hey, they were smart enough to ask one of the most successful guys, you have any advice for us? And he could look in their eyes and tell, oh, you're at that age, you're invincible. You're 7 feet tall or 10 feet tall and invincible. And he told him this. He said, there's jokers and then there's doers, and that's both of us.
Yeah.
Find the people that are more doers, and they don't bring out that joker in you.
Yeah.
And I recently had a conversation with a good buddy of mine, and we sort of both agreed. I said, look, man, we're way too smart to be not doing more.
Yeah.
And I think the both of us brings out the joker in us a little bit more, but I know it can bring out the doer more.
Yeah.
So, how about we dedicate that, I'm not like a New Year goal kind of person. I'm like, hey, New Year's in a few weeks.
Yeah.
How about, January 1st, that's our start line.
Yeah.
Let's, hey, read this book. I'll read this book.
Yeah.
What's a business move we can do?
Yeah.
Because we're both too smart to not be doing more.
Right.
And I think that's what you got to do is you got to lift up your friends, someone that you can trust, and someone that you can build each other up.
Yeah.
And go. And so with all your I guess you call them students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's kind of, you're doing that on a mass level versus, me just, grabbing one guy and saying, let's shoot for the stars, baby,
But the personal level is very important too. That's why I enjoy the private lessons, because you get real personal with that one person. What are you going through?
Right.
How can I help you the most? Even with working at the gym and personal training, there's a lot of times where we'll just, we'll be working out, but we're talking through problems that this person's going through. And that's just as important to me as doing the group classes.
Sure.
Because you can really get more personal. And when I say, like, watch out for people, the reason I can say that, watch out for sexual immorality, drunkenness, is because I've been in those spots.
Sure.
So I'm not trying to stand on my high horse and say this. The only reason I can say to watch out for those people is I've been in that. Yeah. I know why you need to stay away from that. Yeah. Why you need to surround yourself with the right people.
Right. And if you look at it, every other ad is either a pharmaceutical commercial or it's a beer commercial or some sort of liquor. Then you go on the next page, look at, check out Love Island, this one. Check out this dating show, this one. And what are they doing? They're just knocking each other for all the wrong things. They're going after what their eyes are seeing. And these aren't 20-year-olds. These are grown adults, man. Yeah. That's, my wife watches them shows, and I tell them, I'm like, Rachel, why are you watching that? She says, honestly, it makes me feel better about myself. I'm like, well, good for you. Hey, whatever works, It's like, what was it? I was going to ask, I remember you're talking about doing the one-on-one courses and all that. Yeah. Where are you doing that at?
I have an office in my house, and I do everything is from Zoom, pretty much.
From Zoom.
Yep. I'm slowly ramping up doing in-home training with some people. So I've got one of the other elders at my church. He has 2 kids that are 5 and 7. We're talking about doing some in-home training with him. Got another kid that I'm talking about doing that with. So just because I don't have the space to do that at my house, one of the goals is to start saving up and have a small home dojo in the backyard where I can teach some stuff from as well. That's an expensive venture, so I'm working on all that.
Well, shit, man. Yeah. You get the materials, we can build it.
Let's do it.
Build some real cool thing.
I've seen you build, so I know I can trust you with that.
Thanks, man. Yeah. Now, is a goal maybe like down the line to get like a legit dojo, maybe an office space or something?
Once upon a time, yes. I don't really know that that's where I want to be right now.
Gotcha.
Business-minded. I'm always looking at ROI and net income and all that, and the net just doesn't.
It's very expensive in this area.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
What you can do in West Virginia or Florida or Kentucky or Carolina, you might not be able to do here.
Maryland's not business friendly.
No. And I know. Actually stroked a nice little check for the end of year taxes. So that one was like, hey, hon, little easy on the grocery shopping this week.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It just doesn't. I was down in West Palm Beach 3 weeks ago for an event. Actually, my buddy James O'Keefe, he had his event down there. It was sort of an independent journalist gala, and I remember everyone telling me, for years, and West Palm Beach is so expensive, blah, blah, blah. You always hear it online. I get down there, I'm like, this is the same. And guess what? There's no income tax.
Yeah.
And their taxes are, and they're even talking about getting away with property tax. I don't know if that will happen or if that, but it's just the idea is that's where they want to go. They want to be business friendly. They want to be people friendly. And then you come to Maryland, especially where we are, Anne Arundel County, and it's, you almost think sometimes it's like, okay, are there too many people here?
Yeah.
And they want to kick people out? Are there too many people here and now they're just taking advantage? It's a great place to live. You get your 4 seasons, but I'm also at the point now, I don't like 6 months of cold. Like when I met out you just outside, first thing I sound like, oh, look at this gray sky. It gets depressing, man. And then you go down, I'm down in West Palm Beach, and the sun is shining, and everyone, okay, they might not be like sparkling white teeth nice, overly nice, but they're real. And I feel I've always called that, I'm going to coin the phrase, fake happy. There's so many fake happy people here who they live in this area, and you just get to talk to them, and it's just there's a fake happiness about them.
That's exhausting too.
It is, man. You go to Eastport, you see all these people flying their, whatever their injustice flag, whatever it is, and they're in these $1 million plus houses, and they're acting, like they're unjustified or something, or they're a victim, or they're X, Y, or Z, and I'm like, you're not happy. You're just not. And I talk to them all the time. I work in Annapolis, and it's just like they're some of the coldest, meanest, rudest people. And I don't want to not knock on any individual person, but that's just I've opened my eyes to it a little bit more. And then you travel around, like you went to Norway, and you said, look, they're not overly smiley, but guess what? That they're real with you.
Yeah.
They're going to help you out if you're in a situation.
Yep.
Down here, I had a guy. I'm coming over the Route 50 bridge, Severn River Bridge. This is a couple years ago, and at the very end of the bridge, like right before it hits the regular, Route 50, there's like a Chevy, like Impala or Malibu or something like that, just in the middle of the road, right on a Saturday. In the summertime, everybody's going to the beach. Traffic is just backed up, but it just started maybe 5 minutes before I got there. And so they got this kid. He's probably 23 at the time. And I see him. I'm in my truck. I pull right in front of him. And he's in the middle lane, mind you. And so everybody's crawling around this dude, the middle lane's trying to go left and right, so just causing so much backup. And I get right in front of him. I back up. I grab a rope, because I always carry rope in my truck for lines, because I do sailing stuff all the time. So I have some really heavy duty rope. I go underneath of his car, hooked it up. I said, hey, look, when I turn, you turn. When you see my brake lights, you hit your brake. Now, he had no juice to his car, battery's off, but he at least still had the power steering, because his battery was on, or it wasn't locked, so he could still steer it. And so we go, and we take the very first exit off 450, and there's like a B&A trail parking lot where you can unload your bikes and everything and go on that trail. I pull him in, and he was like, dude, everyone didn't even look at me. They didn't even hand like if a homeless guy, like if it was a homeless guy. I'm like, no, I'm trying to. I think his transmission was overheating or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, dude. I used to do this all the time. My dad, we had busted up cars growing up, man. Yep. We had to jump start cars. We still do it. He's got a $70,000 truck, and he'll still, he has old Volvo and an old Jeep that he drives around instead. He's like, I don't feel like spending that much on fuel. I'm like, that's the cheapskate in him. But hey, it's got him to where he is today. But so I'm doing all that, and he's like, well, He's like, well, how'd you learn how to do this? I'm like, what? Tie a line and pull you? Like that's all it needed. He's like, dude, there was like 3 jack trucks that, with all the, whatever, you think that they're tough guys and whatever. They just kept going. Yeah. I'm like, well, one, I didn't want there to be more traffic there than it was down the line, because when you come over that bridge and you're going 60, 70 miles an hour and you see cars that stop, that's an accident. And 2, once that would clear up, when people coming over, I could just see you getting hit, stuck right here. Yeah, maybe a tow truck was coming or whatever. Yeah. But they're going to have to get through miles of that traffic that was starting to back up. And so I get in, dropped him off, and he was just like, oh, I'm like, hey, man, have a good day. I say, you can call your peeps. He's like, yeah, I think my dad's going to come, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, sweet. You're all safe. You're good. Have a good day. Yeah. And he was like, wait, by the way, what's your name? I'm like, oh, I'm Steve. See ya, Right. And then not to toot my own horn or anything, but I'm just saying, it's like, I felt you get that Southern hospitality down there. Yeah. Down in Florida, where I'm from in Texas. That what someone broke down the middle road, that ain't happening. Yeah. It's the first car's coming is going to be like, I'm hooking you up and going. Yeah. You come up here, man, it's that fake happy. It's I'm not going to say nothing unless I get the recognition for it. Yeah. When I see people doing stuff like, you see it on YouTube and everything, and they just had that one guy, that 88-year-old man. He's got $1.7 million. They crowdfund. I think that's amazing. Yeah. But when I think, what I think is the best I think is when you do stuff for people and you don't say nothing about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that feeds this.
Yeah.
And it sets something out into the
Yeah.
ether, you know. But yeah, just, you know, get that out there. But do good stuff for people, folks.
Yeah,
You know?
I'll have cash in my pocket. Like a couple of years back, I remember one of the best feelings I had was I had a 20 in my pocket and saw someone was a homeless person that needed help, and I gave him the 20. And the look on his face when I gave him the 20, that's all I needed.
And how long ago was that?
That was a couple of years.
And so it still sits there.
Yeah.
It's that good act. It's that good deed.
Yep.
The bad deeds can eat you up too.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff that I did that, you know, just dumb stuff. You know, not physically harm anyone, but just, you know, just dumb stuff. I look back on and go, oh, man, it keep you up at night, some of this, you know, but the good stuff, that helps you sleep good. It does. And that sets you on that good path to go.
But, you know, the bad stuff also helps us to know where we need to go next.
Sure. And that's if you are capable of taking that approach.
Yep.
Some folks, they never do wrong. They never learn from their mistakes. And that's the road and I think that's kind of comes with self-discipline.
Oh, yeah.
Making yourself available to fail. Whether if it's in the gym, I always tell people, like, look, go get your workout and whatever, but also fail.
Yeah.
Put up that weight that you know that you can barely do, but you know you're not. You can barely get the bar off of you, because one day you're gonna get it up, and that's the goal to get there. And you know, you ride the high horse too long. Well, I'm not I'm Mr. Perfect. I'm Mrs. Perfect.
Yeah.
Reality catches up, man.
Yeah.
It'll bite you in the butt.
Yep.
So if you don't have those failures to have you be grateful for your success, then it's hard to grasp what you got. You know,
it's like God taught me humility just from all the second places that I got over the course of years, and up until recently, within the past couple of years, I would sit and I would kind of complain about it with other people. And I'm like, why? And then, you know, I wanted to win. Obviously we all want to win, but, I realized that he's trying to teach me a lesson right now, and I'm just too stubborn to learn it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, when I got disqualified at World Games this year, old me would have been complaining about it to no end.
Sure.
But me now, it's like, well, it really is my fault, so I can't really complain about it. I still got 3 other gold medals, so, you know, but I realized now that I'm starting to win and place better and all these things, I'm more right with God than I have been in a long time.
Really?
And I think that's really starting to show through with my discipline, dedication, giving him the glory, and learning the lessons he's trying to teach me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you see this, I'll call it just a sport.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Do you see that sport from where it was 10 years ago today? Do you see it growing? Or let me move this a little bit further.
Yeah.
Do you see it growing past where it is now? Are more people getting into it?
I've seen ebb and flow over the years. When I first started competing was in 2014. That's when I really started to compete regularly. And the divisions were pretty good back then. And there's a definite change in how the divisions look now compared to back then. And we had a major win for martial arts competition in general in the 2020 Olympics, when karate was added, like traditional karate, kata and kumite. Unfortunately, that's not being brought back for the next Summer Olympics. Well, I guess we already had that, so it wasn't brought back last year when we had Summer Olympics, and it doesn't really look like there's any push to bring it back. We want it to come back, even though I'm not in that style. I still want it to come back because it's a great opportunity for those athletes.
Yeah, and it can feed other things.
Yes, exactly. And Taekwondo is still in the Olympics, but it's not. It's not the we call it pumse, the forms, the patterns. It's only the fighting.
Gotcha.
And there's judo, but I would say we've hit a point of stagnation at least for our side of things, because we're not really what you would call a spectator sport. Promoters are not making their money off selling tickets for people to come and watch what we're doing.
Sure.
They're making their money off of the registrations from competitors.
Yeah.
So
That's how arm wrestling is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you understand that.
Yeah.
It's the same concept. Like the World Games, they weren't making their money because people wanted to go see it. They were making their money because they had a ton of registrations.
Right.
And there are some organizations, the WKF is the ones that sanctioned the Olympic karate. They have massive world championships. They just had one, and they always have a stadium full of people. And then the we call them WAKO, WAKO, World Association of Kickboxing Organizations, which is another world championships that I've been to. Their production value, they just had it in Abu Dhabi this year, and their production value was amazing there. Just watching it, they had giant screens, like laser lights. They had it broadcast on their like television networks over there. So the production value was definitely there, and I'm not really sure how that organization makes their money because they are very exclusive. Only the top 2 athletes from each country is allowed to go in each division, so it's very limited in the amount of competitors that are actually signing up. So I'm not really sure how they're making their money, especially for how much they're putting into it, but they're clearly doing something right.
Sure.
As far as growth, I don't know that I really see it growing because it's a sport for the athletes. Like I said, it's not a sport for the spectators, like football or anything.
And I was talking to Charlie when the day you came over for the party, and we were talking about the, Charlie's my mother's husband, Charlie. And him and I were both talking about it, and we both agreed it's like, this is something that, one, I think more people should be interested in. I'm not going to say you should be interested in it. You have to watch it. But, I'm pretty open-minded person. When I go to ESPN, whatever their 8 channels are, and I see cornhole, like, let's watch these guys, these rednecks throw a bag in a hole. I'd much rather watch someone do some kick-ass flips, bring the level, because I've watched some of your stuff, the level of energy that you put off and just the form and the style and just the moves that you do. I'm like, how do you even compare? I get it because everybody plays cornhole. Everybody. I'm not a big cornhole guy.
Right.
I'm not that good at it. I'd actually kind of like to play horseshoes a little bit more. But, so I can relate to it. But from where I come from, sometimes I like to watch things that I don't relate to. It's like you look at that and it opens it up. And I remember in arm wrestling, it was like a Saturday morning, and ESPN 8, The Ocho, or whatever, had Devin Larratt coming out, one of the best arm wrestlers of all time.
Right.
And the announcers, I think it was Neil Pickup or something like that, great announcer, arm wrestler from down under. Actually, he might be from New Zealand, but, good guy, good announcer. And he's like, oh, here he goes again, the unstoppable man, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're really building this dude up.
Right.
And then he just goes in and he's on a top roll. So you have a hook, you have a press, and you have a top roll. You're trying to get your hand over.
Right.
And he's up like this on the top roll, and he's just looking at the crowd. And this huge jack dude, he's up against huge guy, is just sweating bullets trying to get, and he just goes like this. And I'm like, it was that moment right there that I was like, oh, that's cool. So that got me into it.
Yeah.
And that was just going on. It was a lazy day. I'm watching it. I feel like if they put more of that on to that, it doesn't have to be all the time, but hey, once a month.
Yeah.
Twice a month. There's nothing going on. I know there's college sports and all that, but you get out of college basketball and football season. You start throwing that stuff in the summer a little bit more. I think more people will get into it.
Yeah, there's so the U.S. Open in Orlando. They run it out of the Coronado Springs Resort. That gets broadcast on ESPN.
Oh, cool.
So
Gotcha.
that's usually the 4th of July weekend. So
Cool.
that gets broadcast. I don't think it is live. I think it's like recorded
Sure.
and run later. I'd say one of the issues that we run into is we have a lot of keyboard warriors that come after the stuff that we do with the flips and things. It's like it always comes back to that's not effective in a fight. I'm like, well, newsflash, we're not trying to be effective. So
no. And I hate to break it to you, but most likely if they did get in a fight, they'd probably whoop your butt. You know, you're on your couch on a keyboard, dude. You know, it's like, because it's like you're at the point now in your, you know, career that, you know, you do have a black belt on this. You have a black belt on that. It's like, I don't have to prove myself to you by I'm going to catch a stray punch to the face. I don't need that. You know, so I'm going to showcase my skills of what I am to my peers and to my professionals and, you know, build it off of that.
They act like I've never like that's all I train. No, I train Muay Thai and kickboxing. I train jiu-jitsu. You're still in for a time if you want to try and fight me. So
but guess what? I might just hit you with a heartbreak kick, you know, sweet chin music just for the fun of it because I practiced that too.
Yeah, exactly. You know?
That's cool, man. Let's see. Well, before we get going, let's see. We talked about God. We've talked about all your different levels and the sport. We talked about, you know, diet, nutrition. Anything else we're leaving off the table here?
Fitness is a very important part of what you do in any sport as well. You know, we talked about the gym.
Sure.
If anyone's trying to get into sports, whether it be football, basketball, martial arts, whatever, you still got to get in the gym. Yeah. You know, doing your conditioning, cardio, all that's still just as important. So, you know, I still get in there. I do HIIT cardio, like I'll swing a kettlebell for like 100+ reps or something like that, and stuff like that to condition myself to what I'm about to do as well. The sport-specific training is very important, but the fitness aspect of it is something that I think a lot of athletes, especially in martial arts, they kind of get lost on that. They don't treat it like collegiate level athletes do, which is how you should if you're going to get to that level.
Gotcha. Yep. If anyone is looking to get into it, what do you recommend?
Do your research, find a local school. You know, I would offer to teach you, but when it comes to online stuff, it's not beginner friendly.
Sure.
You know, you need that hands-on. You want to be in a group to learn with other people like that. So do your research. Not all schools are created equal. Not all black belts are created equal. Not all instructors are created equal. So do your research, find out the schools in the area that have good reputations. They're treat you like family. That's what you want. So if you're in the Glen Burnie area, I recommend Bartlinski's is still a great school. And what else? You know, there's plenty of good schools in Maryland, and there's great schools everywhere. You just have to look for it. Usually they'll give you a trial class. Do not go to any schools that offer a black belt fast track.
Right.
Because that was a big thing when I first started. Don't go there. Because
really? Do they offer it that way?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, come on.
Yep.
And, what?
Yeah. So don't go to those schools because they're just trying to make money off you. They're not trying to teach you martial arts. And as far as style goes, don't get hung up on the style you pick. Just pick one and start there.
Gotcha.
You know, you're going to get plenty out of each style regardless. And don't jump styles. Like especially if you're not a black belt, don't jump styles. Trying to learn a bunch of different things. No, you need a foundation first. But yeah, it's not that hard. Just make sure that the instructor that you're getting is passionate about what they're doing and is teaching you good, solid martial arts, is not compromising on anything. Sometimes it can be hard to find. I've seen plenty of schools that are very indifferent instructors. They're just there to make money.
Yep.
You want an instructor that's there and passionate about what they're doing.
Yeah, and I know that is you.
I appreciate that.
I just who you are, your persona, you know, your realness as a person. You know, I remember when I was out cleaning the hot tub one time, and you're up on the back deck. This was during COVID or something.
Yeah.
And I could hear you explaining well You know, just because I'm sitting out there scrubbing, and I'm over here. I'm like, man, I'm actually visualizing what he's saying, and so I'm assuming they can see you on camera and all that.
Yep.
If people want to follow you with your journey, how do they get a hold of you? Do you have Instagram handles?
So my Instagram is at Cameron CAMERON _Whittington WHITTINGTON, and you'll find me on there. Facebook is the same thing, Cameron Whittington. I think I still have a TikTok. I barely use it these days.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
it's just. It takes too much from me.
Yeah,
it's just too easy to keep doing this. I was 100%. Like, I had to delete it.
Yeah, I should probably start doing that. I stay on there because there's a lot of good stuff on there, like Christian things.
And you can promote a lot of what you're doing on there. You know,
but it's so hyperactive of an app. I just don't feel like dealing with it.
I remember when it first came out. I feel like it was a lot more plain, and I finally downloaded it again.
Yeah.
Because the Bacon's has one, and I was like, oh, I think I'm going to start posting this thing again. And it looked like I was like cyberspace. There's just stuff jumping at me,
it's ridiculous.
Bubbles coming up with stars. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. What is this? It's just too much.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to make a video for Bacon's or whatever. Even, and I have it for the podcast, but I'll have the entire video made and ready. I open it, go straight to the post thing, click on it. I don't even look at the comments. If people comment, you tell me in the comments. I don't know if people do. It's a lot going on there. So that's how they can get a hold of you.
Yep.
And they'll deal with you directly if they wanted to really get involved. And they were okay. 100%. That's awesome, man. Well, shoot. Well, I really appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you giving the offer. I love doing things like this.
Yeah.
Just talking to people, especially good friends like you. Yeah.
I'm a good friend. Hear that, guys? Of a 3-time gold world champ. What's next? What's coming up next?
Holidays.
Any major events, though?
Setting up some seminars. Talking to a school in Texas about going out there for a seminar. I'll be leaving for Chicago in little over a month. That's our usual beginning of the year tournament. So I have a ton of students going there. So I'll be there to coach. And then setting up that college speaking engagement, hopefully for the springtime. And then beyond that, this coming year, I have a couple goals for tournaments that I want to do. I want to get to the, I'm sure you've heard of the AAU, Amateur Athletics Union. They sanction Taekwondo, so I'm trying to get to their nationals next year. And then I want to also do the Pan American Championships for the WACA organization. And then depending on what my budget and time will allow for, then maybe the USA TKD Nationals, which is that's the biggest Taekwondo tournament in the U.S. For their nationals. So I'd like to potentially do that one. But yeah, people think I'm crazy when it comes to business planning, but I'm very on the fly.
Yeah.
I like to plan, but I let God lead the way and just say, hey, where should I be? What should I be doing? And
that's amazing, man.
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. That's good. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Because when I've tried to brute force my way into doing things, it never worked out. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me just lay back. I know what I need to be doing. I'm going to constantly strive for that. And then opportunities like the college stuff, seminars, they'll point themselves out to me, or God will put it in my mind. It's like, hey, talk to this person. You might have something come of that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, rock on, man. Yep. I'm wishing you well and good luck in your next events. And thanks for coming on, Migo.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Rock and roll, brother.
All right.
Yes, sir.